County Commission to order. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, first order of business is approval of the minutes.
Move to approve.
Motion and a second to approve the minutes. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion is carried. Approval of the agenda. Any additions or corrections to the agenda?
I'd like to add the library board to the agenda and the foundation board.
Under new business?
Could be wherever you want to put it, no matter.
Okay.
Put it under new business, that's where we put it.
Yeah, we'll put it at the end of the business, unless you prefer it somewhere else.
I'll move to approve.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion is carried. Mr. Christensen.
Yes, sir. I can send here tonight on kind of a sad note, but after 23 years trying to keep Church's Ferry going, I guess I'm handing in a resolution or a signature deal that we want to dissolve. We don't have any tax base. We've run off of all the other money that we've had over the years, and we're not broke. But we're gonna quit before we go broke. You know, there just isn't anything out there to collect any taxes with anymore. Never was, but the people prior to me, and when there was a town out there, you know, they were very diligent about saving a lot of money. And unfortunately, we've deficit spent since '99 when the buyout occurred. And so, with that being said, we're finally to the point where, you know, it's kind of impossible for us to continue as a legal entity. So, you know, we've signed the petition there to start the process to dissolve. It is what it is.
Paul, is there water and sewer, you know, with the city up there?
Ramsey County Rural Water has pipelines,
Okay.
you know, in town. There's a couple of the residents are on it. No, our sewer system was,
All individual.
it got inundated in 2011 and took our lagoon out. And so after 11, you know, the ones that are still left there, we had to put our own drain fields in. So no, there is no sewer there, just you know, Ramsey County Rural Water.
That works fine.
Yeah. And there's people west of town that are on it too.
Yeah.
You know, when they brought that expansion in, they picked up, you know, several customers to the west of town there too. So, yeah, there's been no problem with that at all that I know of. Kind of risky under all the water out there, I guess. If they ever went to heck, you know, east of town there, I don't know what they'd do, but so far it's worked fine.
Good.
Yeah.
Anything else you want the commission to do?
Well, you know, there's quite a bit of stuff involved in this process. We're personally hoping that, you know, that we could get the vote for the disillusionment incorporated with the June ballot to save some money. Otherwise, you have to have a separate little thing off to the side, which is very expensive and time consuming and blah, 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 blah. So by coming forward now, hopefully there's enough time to incorporate all that to get it done. And talking with Candy here, it may not be able to be completely completed by June. There's some things that linger after the fact. Myself and one of the other aldermen are up for election, so we're going to put our names on the ballot so that we're elected, so that we can continue on with a legal city council until such time as the commission sets the time and date after the vote to dissolve the city. You know, that way we can get our records or whatever we have to do to get over to the county.
Sure.
And our funds and all that stuff, get all that over to the county. And then, the only thing, Candy, thought maybe that the end of this calendar year would be a good time, but we don't wanna go that long. We just don't wanna go that long. When our other auditor passed away here about a year ago, he was a Church's Fair guy. And when he died, we really had to scramble. There's just nobody left out there to get another auditor. Well, I found one. Reluctantly, she agreed to take it over for us. But then I told her, I said, we got about a year to go. We're planning on moving forward and dissolving. And so with that being said, our auditor will be, she doesn't want to really be there as we speak, but out of the goodness of her heart, and she's a good personal friend of mine, she's been doing it. So just for a lot of reasons, I tell you what, I poured a lot of time and effort into the community there, money and everything else to try to keep it good and nice, and I have, and I will continue to do some of it, but it's just getting to the point where the responsibility, I want to go away in the winter. I'm 64, a couple of years left. I want to retire. I don't, there isn't anybody to take these spots, and so this is what you come down to.
Paul, how many people live still in Church's Ferry and set city limits?
We have 7 residents, 3 households. They're kind of scattered amongst the town there, but that's all that's left for people living there. And nobody can be in there because it's all deed restricted property. When people bought it, I mean, you just can't do anything with it. There's no way to fix a FEMA problem. They're so tight with their restrictions that they don't, that wasn't they want everybody to go. I'm sure they didn't like to see me stay there very bad back in '99 and the other gentleman too, but nonetheless, we stuck it out. But it's just the way it is. I kind of knew that too. I knew it in '99. I've been in the city council for a long time and the mayor before, a long time before. I knew what it was going to take, and I figured by the time I would get ready to retire, she'd be out of cash and it'd be done. And that's pretty close to what it is here.
Yeah, do you think of June work for us then? Did it work out for us?
Yeah, I made contact with the Secretary of State's office. We'd have to start publication the week of May 14th and run it each week before election. And then, in talking with Paul, we figured, not everything is gonna move fast with this, so, to keep those 2 still on the board. And then after the June election, then, as it states in the Century Code, that the board needs to decide upon a date of the city to be dissolved, so.
How many people signed the petition that you have in front of you? Or is it just a resolution from the? 3. Good, yeah.
So there's only one thing I'm gonna add, and that's that it has to be published for 4 weeks after the vote, if you vote to dissolve. So the minimum, absolute bare minimum, if you tied up all the affairs, would be 1 month before it could be officially dissolved.
Question I have, once this dissolves, who's tied to taking care of Ramsey County?
Is it a township?
The county, on a dissolution, it's the county. That's my understanding.
So another question I have you ever checked in on the property out there? Was the city agriculture, or is it?
No, we were totally incorporated, just like Devil's Lake is.
The only reason I asked is because like Penn
Yeah,
is all agriculture.
No.
No one's ever, when I was gonna buy some
but
property.
they were never a city. They were never incorporated.
Okay.
Penn was never incorporated when it started.
Just asking,
Yeah.
because
Yeah, my question would be, so what in Church's Ferry does the city of Church's Ferry own?
Well, between now and June, absolutely nothing. We've sold some property, and we're in the process of selling some more, so that when we're done, there'll be nothing.
Okay.
Except the streets. That's usable.
Yeah, because I'm just looking at the century code here, and it appears as though, at least if I'm reading this correctly, I'm sure Bo can inform me if I'm not, but it says that the county would assume control of the property belonging to the dissolved city. So I don't know if that means, does that mean property owned by the city? So like if you had a city hall, or does that mean all incorporated property?
It means the property owned by the city, so if you have a plow truck, if you
Yeah,
have
that's-
a building,
That's what I assumed it meant.
So,
desk supplies, that all comes to the county, and then we gotta figure out how to dispose of
so
it.
if everything's sold bulk, what are we really tied to?
Street maintenance, probably.
That'll be the only thing, yeah. Yep, that would be the only
And
responsibility.
How is street maintenance being done now?
You're looking at,
Yeah, I figured that.
you know, I've taken care of everything for 23 years.
You got a motor grader or something, right?
Used to, I mean, we do, but it's shot.
So basically, what is there, 2 streets left that would have to be probably plated?
In the wintertime, yep, yep. Well, it's a little more than that, it's 1 block, 2 blocks, and then the street going north, and the one coming in by the railroad tracks.
The county has bladed none of it now?
No.
The city does it all.
I guess the only thing that, I guess this is as good a time as anything to talk about is, we put up a dike in town and closed one of the main streets and Highway 2, old Highway 2 and everything else out there. And, you know, we keep a pump out there and to pump that water over the dike, you know, when it's high, when there's been a lot of runoff, so that it doesn't kill all the trees there down on the east side of town. And, you know, I'm gonna continue to do that because I don't wanna see all them trees die, because I'm not moving away. I just don't want the response, you know, we just don't, it just isn't working, so I guess there's a couple of things like that I would continue to do. I guess I'm gonna continue to mow the grass as much as I can, so it looks good. I have every intention of doing that until I croak. After that, I don't know, nobody
You
will.
said you're just planning on doing Arizona in the winter, and
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
that's your concern.
Yeah. Yep, and those other 2 residents, they will be up there in winter time. They're gonna have to fend for themselves, you know, or wait for the county to come, because I ain't gonna be there, ain't gonna be here to take care of them no more. And that isn't probably gonna happen, like I said, I got 2 years left. I'll be around there for 2 years, but once it's dissolved, then I don't have that responsibility either. I don't have to worry about that. That's just, somebody else can worry about that. I'm not gonna, I don't wanna worry about that. I just don't wanna worry about that no more.
We'll have to see how the vote goes in June.
Yeah, well, there's 50% right there. There's only 6 voters, 7 actually legal. And, you know, it's a done deal.
Okay.
It is, it's a done deal. So anyway, that's how you get the process started.
Thinking 20 years down the line, though, unless say you're gone, somebody got to pump that water, or the trees have died, basically, right?
Right, yeah. And by that time, I don't know if anybody really cared.
That's what I'm thinking.
You
So
know,
everybody that's living there now is your age,
pretty close. Yeah, pretty close.
unless someone was to buy the property that you guys have or whatever.
Right, yeah, that's right. Yeah. Because obviously none of that's deed restricted property, so that, you know,
Never know, Lake Irvine might be a goddamn dust bowl then, 20 years.
I hope it is. Those are the best days of our community over there when it was dry like that.
Either. I'm sure it blew a lot.
So my question to you, Bo, would be then, how this is stated here, do we have the option to accept or not accept, or since they have the number of qualified electors, we just have to basically allow and set the date?
Correct, so it says shall order.
Yeah.
So
That's kind of what I thought.
you gotta order it, a special election, it doesn't say when you have to order it.
Okay.
For the sake of everybody involved, it would probably make a lot of sense to just do it in June.
Okay.
But if you wanted to color outside the lines and do it at a different time, I suppose you could. And then it comes down to those 7 voters and what they decide to do.
And Candy, you double check names and everything, everything's good to go? I guess we'll.
And if you do decide to put it with the June election, I gave you a list of election workers that I have up till 5 o'clock today that would have to be approved. That's part of the century code.
These are for the primary election.
Yep.
I guess I'll make a motion that we allow for the question on the ballot of the dissolution of Church's Ferry in the June primary election.
Do we have a second? Okay, further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion is carried. Thank you, Paul. Anything else for us?
No, that's about it.
There goes the Raiders.
Well, our alumni's pretty active, they'll
They'll never let her go all the way.
Motion's we are.
Thank you very much.
Take care, Paul.
Distributed separately.
So before we get off this entirely, you should appoint your election workers.
Right, so then is there a motion to appoint the election workers also? Okay, we have a motion and a second to appoint the election workers as presented on this piece of paper Candy handed out. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The motion is carried. Mr. Moe?
Yes, just a couple of things. First would be the, I guess, approval of, like, the annual maintenance for our GIS software, which is $3,000.
City's paid their half already, or their portion?
Not yet,
So they will at the next meeting.
yeah, and we're also working with the city on, in addition to that they've agreed to pick up this next year for some of the drone to map software that's $1,500 a year that would allow some additional usage of the drones that the county and the city have purchased. And so, I guess, like, with Chris, emergency manager, he's got projects that there's much better resolution and everything with the drone to map, or with your drone imagery than you're gonna get flying a plane over at 10,000 feet, so you get.
So it's 3 for the GIS and
And
15?
that's, yeah,
1,500?
And
And the city's
set up.
agreed to pick that up for the next
Oh,
year.
okay.
It's basically, we'll try it out for the year and see how it works. And I guess, like, they said they'd pay for it and then I'd process it.
I'll make a motion to carry $3,000.
Second?
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Volk,
Aye.
Lightfon.
Aye.
Brown,
Aye.
Wakefield.
Aye. Anything else?
And I guess second is, I'd like to go again to the ESRI conference in San Diego in July. It's been virtual the last couple of years, and now they're finally allowing in person again. think it's a really good year again to go.
What's the cost of that?
It's about 1,500. I've gone many times. I guess the commission's they've sent me every time every year I've gone. I've been here, I guess, except for the last two.
And that's for what kind of training did you say?
GIS the software and,
The software side of it.
yeah, and especially with the new drone to map edition. I don't know as much about that. It'd be good to pick up some. Information there.
I'll make a motion to approve the out-of-state travel.
Second.
Okay, motion and a second, further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion is carried. Anything else, Steve?
That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Kevin?
Yes. Well, nothing's changed on the weight limits, because snow kind of held things up there. The only issue with that is they're usually on for 6 weeks, so that's gonna push the time period of getting out in the field even longer, so that's the bad side of that. We're the only ones left from Rugby West that's all on now, and then south of US too, of course.
Unless the frost came out real fast.
Yeah, I think they're predicting a couple inches of rain over the next 3 days, so that should bring the frost out too.
No more culverts froze,
There might have been some earlier, but they're all open.
that's good.
Yeah,
This melt.
right. For the most part, I haven't seen any that are froze right now, but there were some earlier. Okay, and then discussion on source well, probably still not a real good source of information on this, but I did learn a little bit more. I talked to the guy in Minnesota that runs source well, and he told me that, yeah, North Dakota is one of the 2 states that they can't use for buying heavy equipment. And it's not just Sourcewell, it's any kind of a company that does that type of bidding, that puts out bids for, throughout the whole United States. They ask for bids on equipment or whatever, I mean, thousands and thousands of items. And our procurement people out in Bismarck don't feel as though those companies, not necessarily just Sourcewell, but all of them, are not being competitive with the manufacturers in North Dakota, so that therefore they don't accept Sourcewell and everybody else's bid process. If they were more competitive with the companies and vendors in North Dakota, then they would probably change their thinking on that. So, I mean, there's, half a dozen items that you can buy from Sourcewell on the state bids, but heavy equipment isn't one of them. Any questions on that? I can probably answer some of your questions on how Sourcewell works, but.
You're gonna rebid that loader then?
Yep, we are. And I think what I'm thinking now, as I got into this, we're gonna use it to run our asphalt grinder, which is a high hydraulic, uses a lot of hydraulic pressure. So
Basically high flow.
it is high flow, and so it actually should have a bigger machine to run that and cool the hydraulics, to run the pumps and cool. So I think I'm gonna wait till next year, or early this fall, and use next year's budget, put a little more money towards it, and buy a little bit bigger one that'll be able to run that. There's like 3 attachments that need these big hydraulic cooling systems, and pressure systems. That asphalt grinder is one of them. A mulcher is one.
You have one that you could use this summer.
Yeah.
You got one lined up.
Yeah.
You need to put a money down on it or anything, or
Not yet.
won't go away?
No, well.
You don't wanna lose it.
Yeah, I know. I have it reserved, but, yeah.
Who's that?
Legal.
That's reserved through
Ironhide.
Doosan's, I have.
No, it is a,
Okay.
oh, yeah. It's their biggest one. And, honestly, I don't know where our soft spots are right now, so, you know, it may come to such a situation where we don't even need it. I mean, I doubt it, but at this point, we don't have any soft spots, so that's what I'm thinking is probably this early fall or so, I'll probably bid a little bigger machine and go from there.
Still a track, right?
Yeah, still a tractor. Any more questions on that? Okay, the next thing, I need to order some signposts for, just for our inventory. I got two quotes, one from Newman Signs for $7,031.66, and one from 3D Signs, who is, 3M, they changed their name, for $7,698.09. I guess I'd just be looking for a motion to order the post from the low bidder, Newman Signs.
So moved.
Sorry.
Okay, motion and a second to accept the low bid. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Motion is carried.
And then the last thing I have is we've got some more summer maintenance contracts in, and a motion for the chairman and the auditor, to sign those. The list has changed since I sent this out. It's DeGrove Township, the city of Devils Lake, Freshwater, Hope, Little Hoff, Hopper Grove, Prospect, and Triumph Townships.
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to allow the chairman to sign summer maintenance contracts. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Pose same sign. Motion is carried.
Just so you guys are aware, we are lading some roads for the city of Devils Lake, in case anybody asks. I mean, they actually contracted with us. I think part of that problem is they're having a hard time keeping help, hiring help, whatever the case may be, in their training, and just keep it up with the workers, basically, so they're hard enough to do it. Plus, we can do it a lot cheaper than they can, probably. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Kevin.
Thank you.
Moving on to new business, approval of homestead credit abatements.
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the homestead credit abatements. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Motion carried. Raffle permits.
I'll move the approve.
Second.
Okay, motion and a second to approve raffle appointment, or permits. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Motion carries. Mountain Lakes Human Service Board appointment, and I see Rhonda is here. Rhonda, did you have anything you wanted to mention about that?
No, I think, it looks like you have the copies in front of you. It's been a couple months to recruit, but we finally got someone who, she listened to a couple board meetings and, was willing to, serve on our board, so we're excited to have her. Lisa Hawley has a business in town. She's interested in, child welfare and the community, so I hope that it's a good fit. We're lucky that she would do it, so.
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the appointment. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Motion carried. Special event permits.
Ones are these, huh? You didn't move here. I'm looking, there's so many papers. That's it.
Move to approve. Any motion?
No, we need a motion.
I'll take.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Motion carries. Library Board and Foundation Board discussion.
I'll start out, I've been getting a lot of questions about the issue of the foundation board and $300,000 that was, I would probably call it misappropriated, and I pursued it to the state auditor's office, and they have turned it over to the BCI. And I haven't heard back from them. So that's what I've done so far. I think we need to address it. I get a lot of questions in the community. If I drive the town, it's getting stopped a lot, phone calls. People want to know what's going on. And I'm not in favor of sweeping it under the carpet. So I guess I want the board to know what I've done. Get to the bottom, get them to look at it, see if there's wrongdoing.
I mean, I'm in the same situation as him. I mean, I work, where I'm working, I'm getting a lot of questions, and I don't know how to answer the questions, because this is something that I'm not a professional at it. How to answer it, I just think that the community needs to have an answer. You know, I'm not the person to be saying what or when, just, it's tough to say one way or the other, you know. And I'm not here to crucify anyone, it's just a question that's coming about, you know.
I was told to pursue it through the state auditor's office first, and they would move it on to whatever level it needed to be taken to, and now it's been, like I said, it's been moved up to the BCI, so. And I just found that out yesterday, that information. They were closed, as everybody knows, 2 days last week. So we're kind of at a standstill, so. I think we need to look into it, get some answers, and proceed from there. Because what was done, in my estimation, is wrong.
I'll just chime in and say I've received a lot of calls too.
Since we're on video, I thought we needed to put it out in public, that we're looking at it, along with the state.
I think that's fair.
I think it's only fair, so.
And I think the fairness of both ways, for the commission, individuals involved, it's fair across the board, so, you know, it is what it is, but it's tough to, like I said, to ask that and answer that. I don't have the answers, you know.
One guy at the state auditor's office that I talked to, he said this is, there's wrongdoing, it needs to be moved on. And so he moved it to the BCI, like I said, so. In his estimation. The foundation board, I tried to pursue getting the bylaws. Did you have any luck with that, Candy?
I was instructed that you need to contact their attorney.
I need to call and talk to an attorney, okay? I'll do that tomorrow. I want to look at them, so.
Further discussion?
Nope, until the next time, I guess, go get more information.
Okay, thank you. Visitors and delegations.
Not here?
I did talk to the USDA today, and it's about, we're talking about that training center, and we can look at a grant. What they would need from you guys is just in the minutes to say that you'd be willing to help halfway with a USDA grant, loan. So that comes out to, at a high, extra $5,000 a year for 15 years. Nothing set in stone yet. I want to get exact numbers for you and let you guys look at everything. They just need a statement saying that you guys would help, then I can go forward with everything. City's already agreed to pay for half. So it'll be an extra $5,000 for city, an extra $5,000 for county,
Over 15 years,
over 15 years
per year,
per year,
so we're looking at 75.
with all the interest, yeah. It's at 2.6%. Until we can get on our feet and start paying for stuff ourselves. So, anybody have questions on that one? Well, I got like 5 minutes, so. The other thing is that I talked to state, and it sounds like they're gonna want them to just go to quick response unit. They don't want them to keep an ambulance, and they're probably gonna cut it up, so. We tried, I'm gonna go up and continue to try, but I think the state has already made up their mind, it's gonna be a quick response unit only. So, I'll keep trying on that.
Who makes that call?
State Department of Health.
Department of Health does, okay.
Yeah, I wasn't very happy with them either, so I wrote them an Instagram and I haven't got a response back yet.
Yeah, it was.
So they just-
Oh, sorry, no.
So they just come out and said this is it?
Yeah, I talked to them last week and I said, no, because they're not compliant with anything, so they're already falling behind. I said, well, we can try to get them back up again. So I'm gonna continue to keep trying, because I know how much they drag their feet.
Well, the argument should be made to the Department of Health that if they're falling behind, why haven't they been asking them the whole time, why aren't you staying on top of things? And maybe we can provide you some help to make sure that you stay up to date.
No, they're supposed to come inspect every
I
ambulance.
Yeah.
was gonna say that, why haven't they stopped out?
And we haven't been inspected since, I suppose, 99, 2000, the last time we were inspected.
So they came out of non-compliance because they were willing to come out and admit that they can't stay in compliance, but the state probably should have been out there to say.
State should have been out there taking care of it, but they haven't.
So
Is the
the
state
frustration is.
short-handed, or do
No,
they have an excuse, or?
no, there's no excuses, none whatsoever.
Keep us informed, I guess.
I will.
We-
If it makes you feel better, the service here is compliant with everything.
It makes me feel better from that perspective.
But I will be out there, I'll be going out there and helping them work as much as I can, try to get them up to speed, so we still have a possibility.
There's quite a few people up there that are interested in helping.
Yeah, it's younger ones. It's, we're looking at people
Oh,
in their
really?
60s, now I got people in their 20s that want to help out, so I'm gonna try to help them get a paid volunteer staff. I did talk to the senators and house reps last meeting I was here with you guys, and they're working on a program to give so much money for rural communities for paid volunteer service, so.
You must have did a good job of shaking the tree up there.
No, I just think that they got enough complaints, there's 300 of us from around the country, so.
Well, my thing is maybe the younger generation would have stepped up sooner if they would have known, hey, we're out of compliance, we gotta get this is why, or whatever.
Yeah.
But now all of a sudden they're kinda in that restriction where if we don't do it, what's gonna happen?
Keep us informed.
I'll keep coming here. That's not always ask for money.
We appreciate it.
Yeah.
Anything else? Okay, so thank you. Any other visitors and delegations?
Still don't want any money. Yet.
Yes, big yet.
Any announcements?
The snow can stop anytime, something like that.
Rain from more snow.
Hearing nothing else, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So,
We're adjourned then.
Well, sure.